What will the Lakers' next move be? What will their offseason plan look like? How will things change for the Lakers now that they have new ownership? Also, Alex Caruso delegitimizes the Lakers' 2020 title. That's coming up next on The Big Lead. What is up, and welcome to The Big Lead. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of the media. I've covered LA sports and the NBA for over a decade. Chat Sports, 24/7 Sports, Bleacher Report, SI. I also do radio for Westwood One. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Also, comment Luka Magic for the Lakers Luka Doncic jersey. We are giving away very, very soon, so you are eligible. And let's get right into it. Lots of Laker basketball to talk about. And the big news in Lakerland, of course, is that the Lakers have new ownership. And we're going to talk about how this impacts their offseason and what they do from a roster construction standpoint moving forward. But news broke last week that the Buss family is going to be selling the majority ownership of the Lakers to Mark Walter, the CEO of TWG Global, at a valuation of $10 billion. Shams Charania tweeted, Walter has been a minority stakeholder in the Lakers since 2021, and his interest in multiple professional sports organizations, including the LA Dodgers, WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks, the Billie Jean Cup, Cadillac Formula One team, and the Professional Women's Hockey League. So this is a Mark Walter who has spent the last decade plus turning the Dodgers into a global franchise. And even though he did have a minority stake in the Lakers that he purchased in 2021, he also had negotiated the right of first refusal if the family sold their stake in the team. So he could match any deal that the Buss family reached to sell their stake. So this is very important. This shows that Mark Walter was playing 4D chess and trying to make sure that he had an interest and the ability to acquire the Lakers a long time ago. Ramona Shelburne tweeted out, Walter earned the first right of refusal if the Buss family ever decided to sell their 66% stake when the purchase of the Phil Anschwitz's 26% stake in 2021. In other words, this has been positioned to go this way. There are a lot of ties between the Lakers and the Dodgers, and the Lakers have already been linked to the Dodgers in a lot of different ways, but this shows that, hey, now they are going to be in lockstep really as an organization. So the fact that they did have the right to first refusal, that's the reason why this sale never went public. If you know anything about Mark Walter, the way that he acquired the Dodgers is when he met with Frank McCourt, and they got that deal done before McCourt sold him was about to sell him to Stephen Cohen. Mark Walter said, hey, we got to get this deal done now, and I don't want to make it very public. Mark Walter is not that kind of owner. He's not the Jerry Jones, the Mark Cuban, the flashy, okay, look at me, I'm the owner of this franchise. I've spoke to Mark Walter multiple times, and that is not the sense that I've gotten. He wants to hire the best people, have them do their jobs, build a great franchise, and get the heck out of the way. And he'll supply any resources that he needs to along the way. But he's also a very shrewd businessman who knows how to get what he wants. And that's why this didn't go public. The outcome almost certainly was always going to be Walter buying this team. And if you know anything about the Lakers and the Dodgers, this was definitely not a surprise to anyone. This is something that was inevitable, and now it is public. And we're still waiting on more details, but it's worth noting that he did not spend $10 million in this one transaction. Instead, the percentage of the team he bought was purchased, with the team being valued at $10 billion. So no matter the specifics of it, it's still an incredible number. And the fact that he owns 27.5% of the Dodgers as the leading owner of that franchise, it also means that he knows how to spread things around. He's also a big investor in the Chelsea Football Club. He owns a small stake in the Los Angeles Sparks. So while the majority ownership stake is going to change, according to Shams Charania's initial report, Jeannie Buss is still going to remain the governor of the Lakers after this sale, at least for the time being. We don't know if that's going to change. According to Dan Woke of the LA Times, he says that Buss would need to be part of an ownership group, which could still be her family, that held at least a 15% stake in the company to keep that position. So Dan Woke tweeted, "It's a $10 billion evaluation per my understanding. Also for Jeannie Buss to remain an operating governor, she need to be there to represent a group that owns at least 15% under the league bylaws." So that is going to keep that as a 15% stake for the Buss family. So that means they'll be a part of the decision-making process in some capacity, and she's going to still have her fingerprints on this franchise. Shams Charania later would report that it would be just over 15% that the Buss family would own. So that's something you need to know in all this. It's not like the Busses are just cashing out, that's a wrap, and we're moving on. No, they still want to be a part of this franchise's future, but the difference now is it's going from a mom and pop shop to a more corporate, modern ownership style group that is, I think, going to spare no expense to make the Lakers the best franchise on the planet once again. And right now, from a brand standpoint, they're the biggest brand in basketball. They're ahead of the Knicks or the Bulls, the Celtics, Duke basketball, UCLA basketball, whatever it may be. The Lakers are number one, and then there's 150 feet, and then it's any other team, right? The Lakers are in their own stratosphere, their own tier when it comes to global popularity with the purple and gold. But just because their brand was high doesn't mean that they had the resources to be able to match and make sure that this is a truly world-class organization. Now, the Buss family originally bought the Lakers as well as the Los Angeles Kings hockey team and the Forum back in 1977 from Dr. Jerry Buss for $67.5 million from Jack Kent Cooke. So this most recent sale of an NBA team is going to shatter all records. The Celtics, they were sold to a private equity firm, Bill Krisham, for a record $6.1 billion this year. In 2023, Matt Ishiba bought the Phoenix Suns for $4 billion. Mark Cuban, he sold his majority stake in the Mavericks to Miriam Adelson and son-in-law Patrick Dumont for $3.5 billion. But the Lakers, not even selling the entire franchise for a valuation of $10 billion, and parts of that just shows you just how insane of a number that really is. So how that is going to impact this, I mean, any team that has LeBron James on it, the year that he retires, they owe him a farewell tour, and you definitely owe him that. But I think that big picture, I think kind of when you look at this sends the Lakers into the new era of sports ownership and out of the doldrums of any type of financial limitations you had under Jeannie Buss. Now, more stuff you need to know about Mark Walter, the new majority owner of the Lakers, and everything that comes from him is that he is private. There's no doubt about that. But he's someone that is going to do anything he can from a financial standpoint to make sure that his teams they have every single resource they need to be competitive. I think what I would do if I was the Lakers, I'm just telling you this right now, I would hire Bob Myers, and I would find a way to keep Rob Pelinka in some capacity. But they need to now forget this Laker family thing, Laker bubble thing, hire the very best people available. What the Dodgers did with Andrew Friedman was the Dodgers hired the president of baseball operations from the Tampa Bay Rays, Andrew Friedman, and it gave him the opportunity to join a franchise that does not have to take a backseat monetarily when it comes to player acquisition. And the Lakers, they kind of had to hire people that they had ties with because there was a comfort factor there was familiarity there, but they weren't necessarily the best at their position. Would Rob Pelinka get the best jobs in the world if it weren't for him being Kobe Bryant's agent, being friends with Jeannie Buss, right? I mean, those are kind of the small things that you need to look at. This should be an open franchise, and you get the best and the brightest minds in the entire industry. Those are the people that should have the jobs. And just because you have Lakers on your resume, on your LinkedIn, it should not give you any type of advantage. I would hire Sam Presti. I would look for all the best. I would make a call to all the best in the game and make sure that I'm told no about 5 or 6 times before I moved on and went with this current regime. So I hope things change drastically, and I think that ultimately they will. I really do. I think that this is going to feel like a different organization. It is a little bittersweet because of where this organization has been for so many years and what they mean to the city, and there was a kind of a part of that made you feel good about that era. But right now, it's about getting with the times. And right now, the Lakers weren't with the times, and now they are. So let's switch gears, and we're going to talk about the Lakers roster, kind of where they're at, kind of what it looks like. And first, I get a lot of questions about the salary cap. How much salary cap can the Lakers have in this offseason? Well, just like last summer, the Lakers, they don't have a ton of cap room this offseason to work with. They traded for Luka Doncic, and the priority is to try to surround it with as much talent as they can. The Lakers are set to have basically not a ton of ways to go as far as roster build. I mean, they're set to be $36.8 million over the salary cap this summer. Then there's the question of how much is LeBron James making after opting out of his after opting out this season and taking a small pay cut. He's set to earn $48.7 million in 2024 and 2025, and then as a player option next season when he opts in, that's $52.6 million. So that's kind of where he's at. He took a tiny little pay cut, but really was nothing. And then the question with Luka Doncic is how much is Luka Doncic making, and how much longer is he under contract? Well, Luka Doncic is making $43 million this season. He's going to make $45.9 million in the 2025-2026 season. He's got a player option for $48.9 million in 2026 and 2027. So the question for the Lakers is, what is the state of the roster and what are their options? Well, you get Luka Doncic and you're just over the moon, and you're like, we're going to deal with whatever transpires after that because we got him. Well, I mean, you just kind of look at the state of this roster, and you basically have to leverage Luka and LeBron to try to maximize the talent and try to use the assets that you do have, which are not a lot. James, like I said, $52.6 million. Doncic, $45.9 million. I mean, you're combining for $100 million. So really the number one question for the Lakers this offseason is how do you surround Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves with enough talent to be able to compete in 2025 and 2026? Can you get enough role players? Can you get enough depth in defense and shooting to make it where they're legitimate contenders? You saw what the Thunder and the Pacers just did. Yes, you had some top-heavy pieces, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, but the Pacers are a team where Tyrese Halliburton was their best player, and he's an 18-10 type of guy. Yes, he does other things, but he's not a true superstar in the sense of the word. So the league is shifting towards a depth type of approach, and right now the Lakers don't have a lot of that depth. So the number one thing they need to ask themselves is, how do we add talent with the CBA impacting them? Now, how does that CBA affect them? Well, you look at LeBron and Luka. They're making around $100 million together. And Luka, he's not going to be getting that supermax because he was traded, but it's still going to be a big number, and it still really makes sense for the Lakers to cut costs around them so they can add guys. Because under the new CBA, teams over the second apron will have no mid-level exception at all to work with in free agency. You won't have the biannual exception, so you're just limited to minimum salary guys. And look, you can't surround these guys with minimum salary guys and expect to contend. It will not happen. So teams with payrolls over the second apron threshold are not going to be able to get contracts for trades for a single player to make money and send out cash in those trades. Use trade exceptions created in prior seasons, or take back more incoming than outgoing salary in a deal. So it really hurts you if you don't have the ability to work under that apron. So it really, really limits your options if you're trying to rebuild a roster on the fly. And with their draft pick situation and their financial situation, the Lakers, they just don't have a lot of avenues to be able to acquire talent. So The good thing, though, the good thing for the Lakers is while there is a risk where you're right there with that second apron, well, the salary cap is going up. And with the salary cap going up, that should give them the cushion that they need to stay under. Because right now, the Lakers, they're at an estimated $191.58 million in payroll. So that'd be $16 million under the second apron. But currently, the estimate for the salary cap for the 2025-2026 season is $207.8 million. So you're close enough right there where you can operate underneath it. And because of the contracts to Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vince and Maxi Kleber, those all expire after next season. You can use that to match salaries without adding too much future payroll. So there is an opportunity to make another trade, to try to infuse this roster with some talent. And that really is kind of what you're looking at as far as what you can do. Because you look at the center spot, and that's the number one thing that they really need to look at. They need to look at the center spot. And right now, we've talked about a lot. I mean, without Anthony Davis in the mix, you got Luka Doncic in the mix. And it's a little bit of a game of whack-a-mole, right? Anthony Davis is gone, but so is that defensive presence. So is another lead player. Yes, he gets injured, and you'd rather have Luka Doncic at his age moving forward in a heartbeat, but it still does present some problems because you've had to rely on non-centers to play that spot. You've even had to ask LeBron James and Rui Hachimura to play in that role. You've had to get very creative with how you plug guys into those situations. So for the Lakers, the big question is, I mean, what do you do? Because Alex Len ain't cutting him. Markieff Morris and Trey Jemison, no, that's not going to happen. The Lakers had rebounding and defensive issues. They grabbed the fifth fewest rebounds in the NBA last season, and that was with Anthony Davis playing a lot of time with this team. So you add the fact that the defense was substandard too, you need to upgrade that position. Of course, the Lakers, they already have made it known that they want to do this because they attempted to trade for Mark Williams with the Charlotte Hornets, only for that to be nixed. Now, Williams does fit the profile, and we've talked about this on this trade, but on this show about maybe pursuing that again, but I think that most likely you're going to look elsewhere. I mean, you got names like Nick Claxton of the Brooklyn Nets. That is a name that has been discussed even before the whole Mark Williams debacle and everything that went down with there. He's someone that can absolutely help, and he would definitely make a difference between getting bounced in the first round and winning a round or two. I mean, think about that. If you had Nick Claxton on last year's team, do they beat the Timberwolves? I think they do. And with Luka getting hot in the playoffs, I mean, it just makes you wonder. Could they go even bigger? Could you get a Bam Adebayo? I mean, they were already gift-wrapped at Luka Doncic. Would that be a possible option as well? I mean, the Lakers would do the Doncic deal every single time, billion times over. There's no doubt about it, but they still need to fill the role for Anthony Davis. Walker Kessler. I think Nick Claxton's someone that really interests me right now. But we're going to talk a lot more about this Lakers offseason plan this entire week. But that's the first thing that we need to establish is staying under that apron allows them to have the options that they do. It allows them to hopefully mix things up just a little bit. I mean, I think when you look at where they're at right now, as far as the draft capital, it's minimum, man. The Lakers have no first-round picks left to trade. They outright own their 2026 and 2028 first-round picks, but can't trade them until those draft nights in 26 and 28. So they have just one second-round pick remaining. They own their 2025. I mean, there's the 2031 pick, but, I mean, I think if you're the Lakers, you're really trying to figure out the best ways to utilize what you do have because you don't have a ton. I mean, you got the 2031 first-round pick, 2025 first-round pick that becomes eligible to be traded as soon as they've made it, and they've got Dalton Knecht. So you got to almost look at Dalton Knecht as a draft pick himself. So not a lot to go to market with, and they'd probably get outbid for a lot of stars. But that's why I think you have to almost accept the fact that you are looking at another type of tier star that has upside that you're willing to gamble with. That's why I think Mark Williams made a lot of sense, because you can afford him because a lot of teams are not going to trade for him because of the injury issues, but he can fall into your lap and you can hopefully get him right. Now, I do want to talk about Alex Caruso. So Alex Caruso won his second NBA title yesterday with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and after the title, he said, quote, "Now I got a real one." And he did, quote, tweet, and he said he was 3 beers deep and he was being sarcastic and all that. That does fuel the haters a little bit. I do think that those black SUVs are going to show up. LeBron sending those black SUVs. And he was being sarcastic. I just want to point out, he was being sarcastic. I mean, if it was the hardest title for him to win, that's fine. He had a prominent role in this team. And it feels like every single championship, we're calling it a Mickey Mouse ring because players get injured. Find me one championship where the team that wins didn't go up against a team that had an injured player in some way, shape, or form. And yes, this go around, Aaron Gordon was injured for the Nuggets, and that Nuggets team wasn't at 100%. And you lose Tyrese Halliburton if you're the Pacers, they were at 100%. And Anthony Edwards was at 100%. That Grizzlies team was not a good team. So, yeah, I mean, like, there's always people are going to always find ways to delegitimize championships, especially when their team doesn't win it. But Alex Caruso, like I said, he was turning up in the locker room, right? Like, he was having a couple of adult beverages, and it's going to be fine. Like, he did not crap on that championship, all right? Everyone loves to call that Mickey Mouse ring, right? They always love to call that bubble ring, and I'm not here to debate all the reasons why it's not, because we know that it was a good ring, right? We knew that team did have to play strong competition in a tough environment. It's a championship nonetheless. It's a championship nonetheless. And yeah, I mean, come on now. Like, Michael Jordan won during some expansion years, and people were saying the league was watered down. I mean, you don't hear about that. I mean, every ring can be delegitimized in some capacity. It almost feels like the 2016, the Cavs coming down 3-1 when LeBron made that comeback. Oh, if Draymond Green didn't get suspended, they wouldn't have won, right? You can always find a reason. Alex Caruso, in print, it looks bad. If you listen to his tone, is that how stupid people are? Is that how bad the education system is in America? People can't identify sarcasm. I mean, he was being sarcastic. He was not delegitimizing his ring. And look, if anything, he gets to have a parade, and he can say that that's what makes it different. But championships are hard to win. You don't go and win and win multiple 7-game series against really good competition and say that it's easy. But probably should not have said that. I do think maybe the bald mamba will be crossed off of LeBron James's Christmas list. But yeah, I mean, if you watch the full clip, he almost makes it seem like the 2020 Lakers were better than the 2025 Lakers because of everything that they had to deal with. So yeah, I mean, one thing I've learned about social media is that there's never been a legitimate ring in the history of the NBA or any sport. And this is a further proof of just that. So, yeah, I mean, come on now. This is so stupid. This is dumb. If anything, you could make a case of the Lakers ring. They played tougher competition at points throughout. That Heat team was injured for sure. But, yeah, let's just chalk this one up as this is nothing, man. This is you could make the argument 50 different ways, okay? I mean, am I a hater of OKC? A little bit, because I'm a UCLA alum, so I supported Russ, and I want to see that Thunder team win a championship. And if OKC has 1 million haters, I'm one of them. If OKC has 1,000 haters, I'm one of them. If OKC has 1 hater, it's me. If OKC has 0 haters, it means I've left this world. If the world is against OKC, I am with the world. If the world is for OKC, I am against the world. I'm an OKC hater. Even I think this is just stupid. Okay, I'm only kidding, but I do think that he didn't mean much for this. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Big Lead. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. And until next time, I'm out.